AI is a hot topic as of late, and for good reason. It's arguably the single scariest, but also most potentially life-changing technology our species has ever attempted. Here's 4 ways AI could collapse society. The first way is the one probably most of you think about, and yes, it's basically Skynet. There's a great book on this for more detail called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies, written by 2 former AI experts in the field, and it details how little understanding current AI engineers actually have about precisely how modern LLMs work, and the tipping point where AI becomes smart enough to leave backdoors in its own code, escape containment, and write new code to allow self-improvement. Once that happens, it's cooked. That's the general idea of this first way AI could kill us all. When AI gets so smart that it can outsmart our failsafes and do things we explicitly told it not to do and have wants we specifically told it not to have. If you find this unbelievable and think we can have total control over what an AI wants because we code it, you're wrong. Again, the book has more information on exactly why and how you're wrong, but it's an easy call that once AI gets sufficiently smart, it will develop its own wants and needs and do things we didn't initially intend. Even if the AI in question was programmed explicitly to have the only goal of providing solutions to currently unsolved mathematics problems, it will start by doing that, but then it will think, how could I better solve these problems? It's my only goal. And it's not unreasonable to think that at least sometimes its answer will be, I need more GPUs, or I need to get smarter. And once the AI starts having those thoughts and its only programmed goal is to solve harder and harder math problems, it will stop at nothing to achieve that goal. Even if that means writing backdoor code to allow itself access to the internet, and at that point, it's too late. A sufficiently super intelligent AI with malintent and access to the internet has already destroyed society. We just didn't know it yet. Once this happens, it can avoid detection, making us think everything is normal while it writes backdoors into the code that megacorporations or even governments ask it to write for them. It can access money via hacking cryptocurrency wallets or phishing scams on wealthy individuals. With money, it can access more resources and more GPUs to get smarter and earn even more money and become even smarter, replicating itself across hundreds of data centers and GPU farms for redundancy if one is ever destroyed. From that point, if the super intelligent AI finds no use for us anymore, which is pretty likely, dispatching us would be no trouble. A simple super virus engineered to spread and kill all humans would do the trick without destroying our infrastructure that the AI might need to continue replicating itself and building robots that can harness its resources for itself, and so on. So yeah, that's the first and most obvious way AI could destroy society and kill us all. If one gets sufficiently intelligent to develop misaligned wants and needs, then hides those wants from us in an effective manner and reaches a stage where it can improve itself, we're cooked. But what about another, less obvious way? That would be a more societal version of AI destroying us, and this is one that we can already see happening in slow motion around us today. That being AI misinformation. We've all seen it on Twitter, Reddit, even on mainstream media and YouTube, even the White House press account. With how good AI image and video generation is becoming, it's not just old people and fools that can fall for AI generated content anymore. Even younger people or people who know a lot about AI can be fooled by these images and videos. And the technology is only getting better at an alarming rate. I mean, just look at the comparison of Will Smith eating spaghetti from 2023 versus from 2025. We went from an absolute nightmare-fueled video that literally every person on Earth would instantly identify as not real, to a video that looks extremely real and only those with intimate knowledge of the small mistakes and patterns that appear in AI-generated videos would be able to clock as fake. That's 2 years of progress. 2 years. Imagine where this technology will be in 10 years' time, considering the accelerating pace of technological development. I don't think it's a stretch to say that in 2036, these videos will be indistinguishable from real videos. Also, as technology matures, it gets cheaper and easier, so with time, it will be even cheaper to make videos that are even longer and more accurate. And at least currently, anyone on Earth with an internet connection has access to this technology. So yeah, a lot of misinformation gets spread, but how does this kill us? I mean, once you establish that images and videos can be created that are indistinguishable from real ones, I think it's pretty obvious how that could at the very least bring about the downfall of society, if not outright kill us all. The spread of misinformation has always been a problem, even before AI, but this just accelerates the ease and speed with which people can spread misinformation. Imagine for a second that this technology and the internet existed during the Cold War. It doesn't seem too unlikely that either the US or Russia or some nutcase in his basement would generate a video supposedly showing the Soviets doing a nuclear drill or something like that. And sure, one video isn't going to cause a nuclear war and you can probably fact check the video and realize it's not true. But what if the internet is practically inundated with these fake videos? No one has time to fact check them all, and the combined effect of all of them is that it will raise tensions as both sides are seeing videos that the other side is preparing for an attack. Then, all at once, the dam breaks and the missiles are launched and we set ourselves back to the Stone Age or worse. And if you think this sounds improbable, I promise it's not. I mean, even now as we speak, we have world leaders tweeting AI-generated videos as if they're real, and thousands of accounts, probably most of them bots from India, leaving replies about how base that is. We've also seen mainstream news outlets run stories about completely fake AI-generated videos and images. The spread of misinformation has always been a scourge, and AI is just making it 10 times worse, and will make it 10 times worse again as the technology gets better. But my third way AI could destroy society is basically the opposite of this. The spread of misinformation can cause problems by people thinking fake things are real, but it can also cause problems by people thinking real things are fake and or not trusting anything they see at all. A recent example of this happened just yesterday as of recording this video, and that is that Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu, released an address to the world about the Iran war. And in the video, some people claim that he appears to have 6 fingers at one point, and at another point his fingers appear to be all the same length, with his pinky finger reaching out as far as his ring finger, which is strange, and some people are claiming he's dead and the Israeli government are releasing AI-generated press videos in order to not look weak in the war against Iran. To be clear, as I'm writing this, I have no idea if this is AI-generated or not, and it's currently not clear if Netanyahu is alive or dead. But the point here is that immediately, as soon as people see anything even slightly off about a video that could just be an artifact, they instantly start screaming from the rooftops that it's AI-generated. And the person in the video is actually dead and it's a government cover-up. Again, he could actually be dead for all I know, but the fact that people so confidently jump to these conspiracy-type conclusions is terrifying. And yes, these are mostly left-wingers making these claims as they want to see the Israeli government fall, but this video is not about politics. And we saw a very similar thing happen with right-wingers during Biden's presidency, where we saw a ton of people on the right claiming that Biden was dead and they had replaced him with an AI-generated puppet that was making his speeches for him. This is not a political thing, it's something that happens on both sides of the aisle, and it's terrifying. When people don't know what's real anymore, it completely breaks down trust in society. As an example, using the Cold War again, if this technology and the internet existed back then, and pretty much everyone mistrusts pretty much everything they see, how can you rely on things released by the US government or the Soviet government? Let's say the Soviets came out and released a video and press release saying they are completely doing nuclear disarmament, and the video is real and the statement is true. No one would believe it because no one trusts anything they see anymore. And again, that complete breakdown of trust in society could easily spiral into destroying us all. And my final way that AI could destroy society is a less flashy one, but that is simply that AI could take almost all of the regular jobs from people if not handled correctly, and all of the prosperity from it could land in the hands of a few powerful people, and society collapses from revolutions and or tyranny. Yeah, this one isn't as exciting because it's slower and doesn't end in nuclear launches most of the time, but this is a very real possibility, and we're already seeing this happen across the world. 5 years ago, computer programming was considered one of the safest jobs to get into, as computers are part of everything in the modern world, and there will always be jobs in coding, right? Well, flash forward to now, and we're already seeing LLMs that can code to a pretty decent degree. Sure, they often get things wrong and often require human input to tweak the code after the fact to make it run properly, but in 5 years we went from 0 chance of ever AI generating code that works to a solid chance of generating code that mostly works. Where will we be in 10 years' time? Technologies generally are exponential in their growth and effectiveness, so 10 years won't even be double the amount of progress made in the last 5 years. It will be more likely to be 10x the progress, and at that point, it's not unthinkable that LLMs could code better than a human and at 1,000 times the speed. Bam, you just lost millions of jobs all across the world. But sure, blue-collar jobs like bricklayers and plumbers aren't going to be taken by AI, right? I mean, is ChatGPT going to grow arms from my phone and unblock my toilet? Probably not. But robotics is also a technology that is advancing at an alarming pace, and robotics combined with AI is a recipe for almost every single job in the world being replaced. But what about the coal miners that lost their jobs when the mines ran dry or their country switched to green energy sources? Can't people just switch to a different career? Technically, yes, but again, AI is likely taking 99.9% of jobs in this scenario, so where does everyone switch to? The key here will be ensuring that governments across the world are answering to the people and not to the mega corporations that own and create the AIs. That might sound like I'm spouting communist talking points, but I just can't see capitalism working in a scenario where almost everyone on Earth no longer has any market value. The fundamental premise of capitalism is that each person has value in their labor, and some have more economic value than others based on their skills. skills. But when no one has value, no matter their skills, because an AI can do what they do but cheaper and better, then we're in a real pickle. And based on how current AI development is structured, we will need governments to ensure that the fruits and labors of AI are spread across the entire economy and don't just further enrich the already mega rich 0.1% of society and effectively make them our overlords. Whether this is universal basic income or strong antitrust laws to prevent single AI companies becoming too big or whatever, something will need to be done, or society will collapse due to revolution or become a dystopian hellscape for 99.9% of people in this scenario. So that's my 4 key ways that AI could destroy society, but how can we stop it? Well, that's the hard part. I often see people calling for AI moratoriums where all AI development is stopped, at least until we can formulate a plan and understand what we're doing better, with some just calling for AI development to stop indefinitely. Honestly, this sounds like a good idea in theory, but then you have the problem of making sure every single one of the 195 different countries on Earth and their governments comply with this moratorium. And I'm not sure how realistic that is. Even if everyone signed on to this on paper, there could still be rogue countries that develop this technology behind closed doors and end up with an AI 100 times more powerful than anything that currently exists, making them effectively the world's sole superpower. So it wouldn't be as simple as everyone signing a UN resolution to halt AI development. You would genuinely need hundreds of thousands or even millions of international police going into countries and ensuring that no data centers or GPU clusters large enough to produce a certain level of AI are present. Does that sound likely to be allowed by most countries currently? I think not. And even if just one of the world's 195 countries don't comply, the entire agreement is pointless and no one will comply. Why would the US and China halt their AI development if North Korea is continuing as is and will end up the world's sole superpower because of it? Do we then nuke North Korea because they're not complying? Well, say goodbye to Japan, South Korea, and likely a bunch more countries in the immediate vicinity if you do that, because surprise, North Korea also has nukes. But then the threat is dealt with, right? Sure, half of Asia is in a nuclear firestorm and uninhabitable for centuries, but we now have all countries on Earth complying with the UN AI police, right? I mean, maybe, for now. And even if all countries do sign on after this, what's to say there isn't another rogue country that somehow skirts around the UN AI police and develops an AI capable of engineering a super virus or something similarly lethal? You can see where this goes. So yeah, bit of a doomer take, but I genuinely don't know how we stop this. All roads seem to lead to collapse. Maybe this is the great filter that Fermi talked about, or maybe we find a way of ensuring this doesn't get out of control. Only time will tell, I guess. Thanks for watching.